Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Oh So Curious Show X DCU Daily. I am, as you can see, John, and I'm here to introduce a whole bunch of news and movie of the week and everything for you today. So, we do have a ton of news for you today. We are going to be talking about Henry Cavill, possibly, or, getting confirmed for Voltron. We're going to be talking about, some box office stuff, some reuniting between bad boys and their director. Well, one bad boy at least, a new Pride and Prejudice series coming to Netflix, as well as Christopher Nolan staying true to his word of never working with Warner Brothers ever again with Universal, as well as talking about some movies that came out this week, like Piece by Piece and Saturday Night. And then our DCU Daily just showcasing that The Penguin is just going hard on HBO and how people are loving it. It's number one, beating everything. And, talking about some MCU stuff, because now we have been talking about the MCU weekly for the past couple weeks. Sebastian Stan defending MCU from naysayers, as well as, Doctor Doom maybe having a troubled future at the MCU. And then finally, we're going to end with a preview for next week, a Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage comedy Brothers, as well as another film in the Smile franchise now, it seems to be. So, but first, we are going to be getting into the news. So stay tuned for that. Hello, everyone. Again, I have Liz with me here today. And Liz, I got to ask you, how are you doing on this wonderful Friday, soon to be Saturday, because it's very late for us on the East Coast?
Once again, yes, very late. I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I am doing relatively okay. I'm, keeping myself very busy. And,
Good.
sometimes a headache, sometimes not, but it's all in all, it's another brick in the wall, right? So,
That's
uh, you know, obviously we have a lot to talk about today. So
we
I
sure
would say
do.
let's just, jump right into it because both of us really want to talk about Henry Cavill. So I think that.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
Robert
You're
Downey.
kidding. I can't open the envelope without this.
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. And you're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the world needs now.
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
All right. Having a lot of fun in the chat today. But, first things first, what we really want to, be getting into is definitely Henry Cavill to star in the upcoming Voltron reboot for Amazon. Now, I'm kind of lost with this one. Not really a big, 80s cartoon anime guy. So I
What are you
have
talking
I
about? Come on.
I just don't know anything
Good
about
stuff.
Voltron. I know I've heard it's great. I just don't know anything about it. But like they're like, man, what's the next nerd fandom we can really put this guy into?
I
Voltron.
mean, well,
Yeah,
and then you got
sure.
to sell toys. You got to sell
Yeah.
toys. That's really ultimately what it's about. It's the marketing, it's the popcorn buckets, it's the action figures, it's the
Oh
video
yeah.
games. I mean, personally, for me, I could give a shit who they cast for Voltron because Voltron, it's been a while. Like only the people that were actually watching it, when they were kids might care. But for me, I'll see it. I'm gonna see it regardless. I don't The cast is not a I mean, I love Henry Cavill. Anything he's in, I will go check it out for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
But to me, this isn't like some big, like, jaw-dropping, like, "Oh my god, they got Henry Cavill in Voltron." I'm like, "Okay." Like, okay. Like,
And
it's not Superman. It's you know what I mean? Like, it's not big news in my world, but I'll see it. Like I said, I mean, the most recent Transformers film was great, so hey, why
yeah, they
not?
could
Let's
definitely
throw
make
another one
this
on in the mix.
work. I assume
Yeah.
it's going to be live action. Yeah, live action adaptation. So yeah, I think this will definitely be a lot of fun. They're definitely, you know, I don't know if this is Hasbro or not. I don't. Well, I know
I
it's
no, I
Amazon
don't believe so,
MGM,
because
but
Transformers is Hasbro, so I think this was, like, their competitor.
oh, okay.
Not really entirely sure. Maybe it's Milton Bradley, maybe it's I don't know. I really don't know.
World
Doesn't
events.
say.
I don't know what that has,
No,
gotten
I
into, but
can't say.
yeah, I think I mean gonna soon be in the Highlander reboot, which should be great because I
I'm pumped for
watched the
that.
original Highlander. I thought it was
Yes,
fine. Clancy
yes,
Brown was the best part of that movie easily.
I
And
agree.
so that's gonna be that's I think shooting in January actually. But yeah, Voltron, I know it's like mech stuff. I know it's like kind of like the mech stuff with like Power Rangers where you combine different things
Yeah,
and you make a Voltron
it's the original
like
Power Rangers pretty much, yeah,
yeah. Well, technically the original
yeah.
Power Rangers was
Without
Super
karate.
Sentai, but you know how it is.
Okay.
Um
Yeah,
I think Kamen Rider might have predated Super Sentai, I think. Yeah, it's Power Rangers but only Megazords. Yeah, that's what I
exactly.
kind
Yeah,
of figured.
it's Power
So,
Rangers minus the kung fu, yeah.
yeah. But this I guess not. I mean, a lot of people wanted Captain Britain. I know Henry Cavill was like there was like a rumor going around before like a couple of days before Comic-Con when Robert Downey Jr. was announced as Doctor Doom, which we'll be getting into soon. That Henry Cavill was going to be Doctor Doom and I'm like I would have taken that. Would have been fucking better than Robert Downey Jr. coming back, but you know what?
I don't know.
Was
I'm indifferent about all of that, honestly.
That's fair. Um, but yeah, I think this is definitely a good choice for, you know, it's to like because I mean, so many people love Henry Cavill. Voltron is I don't want to say a totally like unknown like franchise. A lot of people know it, so I feel like you get kind of the people that aren't aware of Voltron but are aware of Henry Cavill, and then
Yeah, it's gonna be the people that are aware of Voltron bringing their kids to see it. That's
yeah,
what it's gonna
that
be.
and
Yeah,
and then you have all the Henry Cavill Superman fans, Snyder cultists, all that coming in for Voltron. So it's like, yeah, I
yeah,
think
to see what it's about, yeah.
I just hope that Henry Cavill can like get his head on straight. I mean, it's not his fault, but it just feels like every one of his movies is just kind of bombing right now. So I mean, because the two
Yeah.
movies he was in this year, despite the latter of which was really good, it seems like every one of his movies are kind of bombing. So it's just like, let's just hope
Yeah, but
it's not
again,
like
I think that just has to do with they have not been advertising well, in my opinion.
that's fair.
They're not throwing their advertising dollars behind that stuff right now, and I'm not sure why, I'm not sure what exactly the deal is. Like, I think what it is a lot of studios are now trying to focus on, like, the social media aspect of it, but it's like, no, you still need to be showing the commercials, you still need to be showing the trailers in theaters,
Hmm.
and it's kind of been dropping the ball and are trying to, like, do the TikTok, Instagram shit, and it's not they're not reaching their core audience when they do that. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, obviously, I'll see it regardless. But
Yeah. But yeah, this definitely looks like a lot of fun, and I'm glad we're getting that casting. But the next thing we have is a lot of box office stuff. Terrifier 3 is apparently like doing really well. So I
it's
guess
wild how well it's doing.
I guess like people
I was
are
just at the theater
thirsting.
today, and it's crazy.
People are thirsting for a clown, and since everyone hated Folie Ado, well, except the two of us and maybe like 10 other people, um,
I mean, I didn't care for it, but it's fine.
but
It's not
yeah,
my choice, my top 10 for the year. Yeah.
but it seems like Terrifier 3 is, the winner of the clowns, I guess, the Art versus Joker, Dawn of Clowndom, and I guess Art wins. I don't like, even though I'm the horror guy, I love horror movies. I tried to watch the first one. I couldn't. It was just torture porn. The second one was like okay. I kind of maybe had some sort of interest with this one. All my friends said it was good, but I'm just like, I just don't really care. I hate how like cheap the movies look. I don't think Damien Leone is a good director. I don't like how forced Art the Clown is. It's like, oh, he's the next big horror icon. It's like, all right, Michael Dougherty already created that with Sam in Trick or Treat, and he didn't even have to try very hard. So, like, all right, sure. But yeah, so it seems like Terrifier 3 is really, drumming up a lot of great, stuff for this franchise. And the fact it's also super cheap also helps. It's planning to get 15 million over the course of the weekend versus I believe, $2.5 million budget. So it's definitely
Yeah,
it's already gonna triple its budget by the end of the weekend. So
yeah. Which is pretty interesting considering it's a non-rated film, which means that it's only for audiences that are 17 or older. Like they are hardcore IDing folks at the box office. So it's wild, like hearing those kinds of numbers, considering how limited the audience is. So
Mhm.
there's something there. I'm not a fan. I'm not going to see it. I didn't see the first two. I'm not into those kinds of films, but it's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
three.
never
Yeah,
heard of
there are.
Terrifier. There's three of them. Yeah, it's definitely like definitely one of those more like underground like horror
Yeah,
franchises
it's
for
a
like
it's a cult. It's a
super
cult following for sure.
big like cult horror fans. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's definitely it's one of those things that's not for the faint of heart. It's like a lot of like gore, a lot of like heavy on like special effects, and like the
yeah.
kills are like insane and all that. Like I remember my friend was talking about after coming back from Terrifier 3, one of the tamer kills in the movie is a guy who gets a chainsaw up the ass. So if that's
Oh,
your thing, then by all
delightful.
means, but that's not my
You
thing.
gotta be 17. You gotta be
You
17 or
have to
older.
be at least 17 though. So if you're not 17 and interested, well, you can always pirate it. So I mean, I'm not recommending piracy. I mean, what? Anyway, but
What?
yeah, and then
Absolutely
Joker
not.
has also just been completely and utterly floundering at the box office. As somebody said, it's only getting like 10 million by midweek. It seems like it's gonna survive by the worldwide, which I believe it's at like 80 million by now, I think, which
Yeah.
is certainly not good at all, but maybe it'll get
My
something
friends at the
again.
movie theater already wanna get rid of it. They're like, "It sucks that we have to keep it on the schedule for the next couple of weeks." Like,
Yeah,
they're
same
over
with
it.
Megalopolis. They're just like, let's just get rid of this fucking movie. Nobody's gonna be watching this shit. So, I mean, I saw somebody already take a poster down of Joker Folie à Deux. It's like, all right, we gotta advertise other stuff now, so
Yeah.
let's get this the fuck out of here. So yeah, it's kind of a shame because I liked it, you liked it, so
Again,
it's
I don't know that I liked it. I
I
certainly
would
don't
say
recommend it to anyone. So I like again, I liked the performances. I liked the way it ended. Do I recommend anyone go see it? Absolutely not. So take that
you
for
know
what
how it
you
is,
will.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I still enjoyed it. My buddy Mark loved it. My dad really liked it, so all of us, really enjoyed it. So there's that. But yeah, next thing we have on the docket, maybe a little bit less depressing news, is we are getting Will Smith and Michael Bay coming back, reuniting. We have Will McSlapperson Smith coming back with Michael Explosionathon Bay. So this should be an interesting combination once again. They worked on the first two Bad Boys together. I don't think they worked on anything else together though. But Bad Boys was the movie that pretty much launched Michael Bay's career to, young Dan's enjoyment, of course, because as we know, Michael Bay is his favorite performer. Yeah, favorite director. And so, Mike Dan can't get enough of Michael Bay. But this definitely, for all few genuine Michael Bay fans out there, this is for you, I guess. I'm indifferent. I don't love Michael Bay, but I don't hate
Same.
him either.
Yeah.
But it could be fun.
Bayhem? Okay. No.
Like, I like
We're
The
not giving him
Rock.
a
The
cutesy
Rock's a lot of
little.
fun.
Yeah, no, listen, The
Uh,
Rock is great. The Rock is a classic.
13 Hours
Uh,
was genuinely a good movie. Like, I was surprised with how
Yep.
good that was.
Yep.
Transformers is a guilty pleasure. Revenge of the Fallen can go choke on a bag of dicks, and I don't think I've seen anything else. I haven't seen any of the Bad Boys movies. I haven't seen Pain and Gain. I refuse to watch Pain and Gain because fuck that movie. I've seen a little bit of Pearl Harbor.
Pain and Gain is fucked. Pain and
It's
Gain
a
is wild.
terrible fucking.
Well, the fact that it's based on a true story and they're just essentially glorifying it and cashing in on it.
Yeah,
is the whole
they
thing.
they literally got sued by the victims' families, and it's just like, what the fuck is wrong
Yeah.
with you? And they got settled out of court.
Yeah.
So, that was a pretty terrible thing, but nobody cares because people are assholes. So I was
Well,
like,
and it wasn't even good.
yeah. Well, people fucking love Pain and Gain. Like, I've seen, like, the only stuff I've seen, like, online of, like, in, like, certain groups of, like, just, like, random film groups I'm in, people are like, oh, yeah, fucking Pain and Gain is so great. I'm like, why? There's
It
better
really
action
wasn't,
movies
though.
out
The
there.
the trailer was better than the film itself, so that's all I can say about that.
Yeah. It's just, but apparently, Fast and Loose has been something, he's been working on for a while, and he's like finally, getting it made. And the last thing he did was
Do you
Six
think Vin
Underground.
Diesel's
And
gonna sue them? Because that's very close to, like, Fast and Furious. Like, what if they were trying to,
I don't think
how dare
so.
you take one, like, that was the title for Fast and Furious 12. How dare you? Like, that's all I think. I hear that, and that's all I think of. I'm like, "Oh, is Vin
Yeah,
Diesel
because
gonna."
Vin Diesel has an ego on him, so that wouldn't.
Brother never told you never threaten a man's family?
I love how Dan just has that ready to go at any moment.
Oh, he has multiple ready to go. Do you want to play another one, Dan?
What's real is family.
In the words of DJ Khaled, another one. Another one.
That's a
Come on.
shame.
Don't leave.
Brother never told you never threaten. I don't have friends. I got family.
If I have
I'm
to suffer
surprised he
through
hasn't
this,
sued you guys yet for that.
y'all
I'm
have
really
to suffer through this
really
with me.
surprised you
damn
haven't
it.
gotten a letter in the mail. Holy cow.
No, Diesel just like comes up. Daniel
Unhinged.
Khan, what the
Unhinged.
fuck have you been doing with my Fast and Furious footage? You're not family certified. Pow! Just,
You don't turn your back on family.
He turned. Yeah, it sounds like my sex life. I mean, what? Anyway, so yeah, Michael Bay is making the newest movie, Fast and Loose,
I was
with
going
Will
in a
Smith.
completely different direction. I was gonna make like a Pepto-Bismol kind of reference, but okay,
No,
we're
I
two
gotta
different
go
minds
dirty.
here.
I gotta go dirty. Anyway, but yeah, Will Smith and Michael Bay are teaming up once again. After I believe it was 2002 was Bad Boys 2.
PD.
2001, 2002. But yeah, and it's been 2 years since Michael Bay's last movie with Ambulance. And it's been I think 5 years since he worked with Netflix. So yeah, all 5 of you
Did you
that are
see
excited.
Ambulance?
I didn't.
I had to
did
leave
not.
early. I I have really bad motion sickness, and apparently they had a really big drone budget, so whoever was in charge of the drone footage just went ape shit, and that whole like literally within 10 minutes I was so sick I had to leave the theater because holy shit, fucking Michael Bay, I can't.
I saw
This is
somebody
why like
watching
he's
it
hit or
on
miss for me.
I saw somebody watching it on like a train one time, and the thing is,
Oh my God.
I was like really low on like I think I was like really low on battery. I think I finished my book or something, and I was just like kind of looking. I'm like, is he watching Ambulance right now? And I was just like, all right, or maybe I was on a plane. I don't remember.
I mean,
I don't
it's
know
a
if I was
shit.
on a
Listen,
train
I
or a
love
plane,
Jake
but
Gyllenhaal, so that's I was looking forward to seeing it, but
yeah,
I
I like
was
I
scared. I
believe
got so
Isaac
sick.
Gonzalez was in that, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. They were all in that. They're all really good actors, and it
Yeah.
depends on the Bayhem. Yes, Bayhem does love drones. He loves explosions, but
But
I
he
think
also loves extreme, yeah, he loves extreme close-ups. He loves drones. He loves
he
a
loves
shaky
sexually
cam.
harassing women. He loves, all this.
He loves stealing titles from the Fast and Furious fucking franchise. Again, I'll see it. It might make me sick because he doesn't who knows what his drone budget will be for this one. I don't know, but I'm always hit or miss with Michael Bay. Sometimes it's good,
Mm.
sometimes it's bad. Will Smith, I like everything that Will Smith does. I don't know that I've seen anything that I didn't care for that Will Smith does
Did you
aside
ever
from
watch
his marriage
Collateral
and what.
Beauty? Because I heard that was really bad.
I did not. I don't think I've ever even heard of that movie.
It was
What
like
is
this movie with like it was advertised as like a movie that it was about this guy, Will Smith, who's like going through. I think he's like kind of going through. I think like he lost his daughter, or he lost his wife, or he lost both, and so he's like been like really depressed and grief stricken, even though he's like the CEO of this like company, and it was like the way they sold the movie was like, oh, he eventually gets visited by like personifications of like time and death, and how to like get over his grief. Like that's how it was, and it looked like an interesting premise, looked like an interesting movie. And then it turns out that the actual movie was about his employees paying actors to do that so that he
fuck,
can
I did see
eventually
that movie.
get him to
Yes.
quit. And it was like
Yes.
the dumbest
No,
fucking thing.
I did see that movie. I absolutely saw that fucking movie in theaters. Yeah, it was his employees try because he had just distanced himself so much that they were like, "We just wanted you to walk away because we knew you couldn't handle it anymore. You're not here, or you're not present." Like that, it was really like I'm in the theater like the fuck. It was just it was
Yeah, because it like the
so
premise itself was like an interesting idea, but then it was just like then they just went way fucked up with it.
yeah.
But that was that.
Yeah.
Let's move on before
Yeah,
we
and
get
that movie
on
was
to another
so
thing. But
good that I totally remembered seeing it in theaters and
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So the next thing we have
Uh,
on the docket, so apparently Pride and Prejudice is getting another, adaptation. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Christopher Nolan sets his next movie at Universal. That's what I meant to say. I totally
Woo!
meant to say that. Um, Christopher Nolan is setting his next movie at Universal in IMAX for summer 2026. And Matt Damon, who is returning from Oppenheimer, is going to be, joining him once again.
Okay.
So I'm excited for this, and I'm just loving this journey for Sir Christopher Nolan, just completely and utterly fucking over Warner Brothers. Um, so I'm here for that because fuck Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers are assholes, so they can eat a bag.
They make dumb decisions, so yeah.
As my friend said, Warner Brothers executives can stand next to a fountain and still somehow find a way to die of thirst. So yeah, it's and so yeah, it was pretty much like, because from what I heard, I think it probably mentions it in this article, but he was only gonna, um he was only gonna be with Universal. Apparently, allegedly, I don't know if this is rumor, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but apparently, like, Warner Brothers offered him like 7 figures to like come back to Warner Brothers, and he's like, "Nah, I'm with Universal now." And to the
Yeah.
point, he actually like he didn't even consider going back to Warner Brothers. And I don't know if this was like his agency or him himself or Universal. I don't know, but it also like the co-CEOs of Warner Brothers were like banned from like reading the script for his upcoming movie, and it was just like, bro, I'm loving this. Nolan, you're finally realizing that Warner Brothers sucks dick. So let's fucking go. And he's like, don't fuck me over on streaming. Don't fuck me over on my movies, because, you know, he's gonna make you pay, because that was the whole thing with Tenet. Was like, he's like, I don't want it on streaming when it's in theaters. This is a theater experience. And they're like, okay. And so, and then it got
Yeah.
released on streaming, and then
Yeah.
he's like, fine, fuck you. And then went on to make his magnum opus at Universal, which made almost $1 billion. It's probably going to get re-released and finally reach that point eventually. But yeah, so Warner Brothers, get fucked. Sir Nolan, keep doing what you're doing. I'm excited for whatever you
Yeah.
have in store, whatever that may be. I hope not. I hope not, because Nolan
Well,
is
you know,
better
it just makes me laugh. It makes me laugh when these studios think that they can get like, you're talking about Christopher fucking Nolan. You're not talking about some unknown. You're not talking about some guy that's directed one film. Like, fucking Christopher Nolan gets what he fucking wants, or he finds somebody that will give him what he wants. Like, how dumb are you? And they
Yeah,
learned their lesson, and hopefully they don't fuck somebody else over in the future. But
like James
you
Gunn,
know,
Warner Brothers. So,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
all we can
We'll see
really
what
hope
happens.
for at this point. We hope they learn
Yeah.
their lesson, but studios never do. So, but we hope. We hope. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for this. Nolan knows what he's doing. I mean, Oppenheimer was arguably his best movie. I know some don't agree. I know Dan will say his best is still The Dark Knight, which is fair. Dark Knight is still excellent to this day. Batman Begins, Inception, the dude just cranks out amazing movies. And so I'm excited for whatever he has next. And now
Yeah.
it seems like he has a proper sound editor, so maybe he will hopefully stick with that. So, after Dunkirk, woof. Anyway, both
Thank
Interstellar
you.
and
Thank you.
Dunkirk, which is funny because when Dunkirk won sound editing, I was literally screaming at the top of my lungs. Are you fucking kidding me? That was
Thank
just
you.
that was like Bohemian Rhapsody winning editing. I'm like, what are you fucking doing?
You
Like, say what
really
you will
hate
about
that
that
fucking
movie.
movie.
The editing in that
Holy
movie was
shit.
trash.
Oh my God. Shit on Bohemian every week. Good
I'm
Lord,
just
sir.
saying
What did that movie do to you?
it
Let it
was
go.
terrible. But
Christ.
anyway, so
Okay.
the next thing we have, what I was trying to say before, until Dan screwed up. I'm glad I didn't screw up. I'm glad he screwed up. But next thing we're talking about is Pride and
It's
Prejudice.
always next
It is
time.
getting an adaptation from Dolly Alderton, who I believe only has she has a couple things to her name. I think she worked on Peep Show, and her main claim to fame, I guess, is Everything I Know About Love, as well as a couple other things. So yeah, it seems like she is going to be heading a new adaptation from Netflix. Hopefully, it's less like Persuasion, because apparently, according to my Jane Austen superfan sister, that really sucked. So let's hope this one is a little bit better. Dolly Alderton doesn't have a lot to her name. Pride and Prejudice is, arguably the most beloved Jane Austen novel of all time. I don't know if it's her best. My sister says Persuasion is her best. But Pride and Prejudice is like the most like known and the most like, like I know, like I don't know much about Jane Austen. I know Sense and Sensibility. I know Pride and Prejudice. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I really enjoyed Tenet. I thought it was well done. Yeah, it's a little confusing, but I thought for the most part it was an interesting premise, and John David Washington was excellent. So yeah, I
He's
think
well, and
yeah.
Robert Pattinson was amazing in that as
Oh
well.
yeah, but Robert
I really
Pattinson's
liked,
amazing
yeah,
and
I love
everything. It's
that.
just like that, like Tenet and like Black Klansman, like back to back, pretty much for John David Washington. We're like,
Oh my
oh, this
god.
guy actually has
Holy
talent.
shit,
Okay, he's not just
for
a
sure.
nepo baby who just got. No, he's actually talented. All right, that's
Yeah.
good. Now we're cooking with gas. Looks like
I'm just trying to look up Persuasion because I can't remember if I saw that either. So I'm
it was
just
with
trying
Dakota
to.
Johnson, I think.
Yeah, I did not. I did not see it.
Yeah, it was on Netflix, and so
But
because I sent this to my sister, she's like, "No," and I'm like, "It's a different person." She's like, "I don't care. Netflix fucked up," and I'm like, "All right." Um,
well, they're
so
everybody's cashing in on like the whole Bridgerton shit. That's why they're
yeah,
doing it.
that's
They're not doing
essentially
it because oh,
so
this
like
movie needs to be made. They're doing it because this is, they're trying to get the Bridgerton audience and
the
the Downton
Bridgerton,
audience.
half the cast is going to be like black and brown people, and then the other half is going to be gay. So like that's probably what they're going to do, I would assume, because that's what Netflix loves to
All
do.
right.
Not like saying that's a bad thing. It's just like that's the trend now, I feel. But yeah,
Okay.
so Pride and Prejudice is getting, another adaptation. Hopefully it's good, but I have a strong feeling it won't touch the, film and miniseries adaptations with
Well, I
Colin
again,
Firth
I
and
think the
Keira
problem
Knightley,
is
respectively.
well, and I think the problem is now like those stories are just not popular these days. Like you said, like unless you're like a Jane Austen stan, like if you're it's they're relatively unknown. So unfortunately, because Bridgerton is so popular, now anytime you produce a movie like this, people are going to expect it to be another Bridgerton, and then they're going to be disappointed. So we'll see what happens with this one, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be a snoozer myself.
Um, yeah, but that's it for the news we have. Now we're going to be getting into, sure, whatever you want, Fiona, just for you. They're going to do it just for you. Um, but yeah, Bride of Prejudice. I don't know. Honestly, the only reason I hope it's good is so my sister doesn't rant my ear off, and I just get texts at like 1 in the morning detailing about how horrible this show is. That's my only hope. That's my only hope, because when my sister is mad, she has to make the entire world know she's mad. And that's fine, but it's like, now I gotta hear it. I love her to death, though. Love her
Well,
to death,
good
but
luck to you,
sometimes
sir. That's all I can say.
pretty much. But
Good
yeah, as I
good luck
said,
to you.
but yeah, as I said, we're now moving on to movie of the week. First, we are going to be talking about Piece by Piece. Since I have not seen it, Liz, you got to take it over because I have nothing to add,
I've
pretty much,
seen
other than the
it.
fact I love Legos.
Well, so here's the thing, gang. I was really pumped about this movie. I was really excited about it. Thought it was amazing. Thought it was the most Pharrell Williams thing ever for him to do a movie about his life in Lego. Um, my theater was very full. There were a lot of families in there. A lot of little kids were in there. Unfortunately, it is essentially an episode of Behind the Music made into Lego. So when they say it is Pharrell's story, it literally is Pharrell telling his life story, being interviewed, little side interviews with people like Gwen Stefani and Snoop Dogg and Pusha T. Um, I mean, I learned some great things about Pharrell that I didn't know. I didn't know he went to school with Timbaland and Missy Elliott. I
Ooh.
didn't know that he was essentially responsible for Rump Shaker, like for Shake Your Rump, those kinds of songs. Like he started that early producing music and contributing to the musical lexicon that we know today. But it was an hour and a half and it felt like it was 3 hours. And considering, it's Lego, you would think that it would be action packed and it would be just just going from one thing to the next. Like it, in my opinion, dragged. It felt like it dragged. The pacing
Mm.
was very, very slow. And I'm just looking at the kids in the audience and I'm like, these kids are so fucking bored because they don't know Pharrell. They know some of his songs, like his hits, but they don't they're not there for Pharrell's life story. Like they're, you know what I mean? Like they're there to
Yeah,
see
it's
like
like, but
music
that's
videos
I
in
feel like
Lego.
that's obvious that I would never have brought my kids. Yeah, sure, it's Lego, but I would have never brought my
No,
kids to
right.
see this.
Right. Like no, people straight up brought their kids like treating it like it was like the next like Lego Batman. And it's like, no, man, like it's Pharrell talking, just literally talking about how he created beats and then how his ego got out of control and how he had to kind of come back down to earth. And like it for me, it dragged, unfortunately. I still loved it. He created all new music for the movie. I didn't care for half of those songs, but we also only got like snippets, so I have to download the whole soundtrack to like, figure out
I
if
don't
I
like
really
this,
like
but I
it or
have to
not.
download the whole soundtrack.
Well, no, just because I want to hear it
No,
in
that's
its
fair.
entirety. Like
That's fair.
the parts that I heard, I was like, that's a no for me. But with Pharrell, especially because there's so many levels to each of his songs, like there could be parts that I enjoy and what have you. Um, so again, it was cool to see them put it to Lego, but
Yeah.
at the same time, the pacing was just. I will say that. So again, Wicked is in our face right now. The trailer for Wicked prior to this film, they did all in Lego. They recreated the Wicked trailer in Lego for this film. And that was cool. That was pretty cool. But again, the kids in the audience were like, the fuck is this? But yeah, it's a shame because I was so looking forward to it. I thought it was going to be a good time. It was a good time, but it was a long time. And it's just like I said, it was genuinely behind the music in Lego form. It was
Yeah.
Pharrell Williams behind the music done in Lego. So I enjoyed it. Check it out. It's all Pharrell. So if you're a fan of Pharrell, see it. If you don't care for Pharrell at all, you're gonna feel like you've been there all day because it's very, very slow, unfortunately. But I mean, again, very creative, very creative. I
Yeah.
don't see anybody else doing this. Like, I think he's kind of ruined this concept. If anyone else is like looking like to, oh, I'll put, my life story to not Pharrell's ruined it. They're not, it's got
No.
you
Now
can't
we'll
make a Lego movie without a superhero or something in there.
now we'll have to see if Robbie Williams's biopic starring a monkey is gonna be good.
I'm really looking forward to that too. That's the thing. Like I'm kind of bummed out because I'm like, shit, Better Man looks incredible. It looks so good. I love Robbie Williams. He's such a cheeky little fucker, but we'll see what happens. Here's hoping it's better than Piece by Piece, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you can go artsy, you can go out there, you can go extreme, but you gotta pick the right balance, I think. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But it was cute. But even it was funny because like even in the film, in Piece by Piece, like because again, the whole premise is like he's being interviewed and other people are being interviewed. Like at the end of the film, it was kind of like they didn't know how to end it, and they even kind of said that they were like, "So this is the end of the movie," and he's like, "Yeah, this is it." So it was just very lackluster all around. It's like, all
Yeah, that's a
right,
shame.
okay, you made a movie. Good job. Yeah,
Good job.
yeah,
You made this movie. Let's hope our
yeah.
next, one is a little bit easier to talk about with
I will say what I thought was very interesting because they were totally honest and they took you through all the different decades of his life and the stages of his career. I was really, really surprised. Like, yeah, Snoop Dogg is a Lego, Pusha T is a Lego, Nori is a Lego, but they got into like the whole Black Lives Matter movement. There were Legos holding up
mm,
Black Lives Matter signs and, hands up, don't shoot signs. So I thought that was really interesting sitting in the theater. And I was like, oh, I'm shocked that Lego is cool with this and is allowing their toys, their pieces to be shown this way. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But again, it just like I said, the hour and a half movie, I felt like I was there for 3 hours. So take that for what you can. And again, don't bring your kids. There's no reason for kids to go see this.
I mean, to be fair, people brought their kids also to fucking Joker Fully do, so there is
Well,
that.
right. Right, exactly.
So people are fucking stupid. So
Yeah.
you know how it is.
Yeah. So, oh
Um,
well.
but yeah, in terms of that, that's our
I mean,
little
they're gonna make money
tidbit.
this weekend. Like I said, my theater was pretty full, so
Yeah, it's
they
probably
might
gonna
make the
majorly
same
drop
amount of
off
money as
though.
Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that's it for, piece by piece, but we are going to be, hopefully talking about Saturday night. Because I'm really curious to know your thoughts about Saturday night.
I
I
saw
still
that
want to
this
watch this,
morning.
so
It's excellent. It's excellent.
mm,
It's
awesome.
it's it's just as chaotic as I would imagine that because the whole premise of Saturday Night is it's the very first episode of Saturday Night Live. So it's and what I really like about it is they reference a lot of really popular skits. Like, so they're all trying to figure out what the show is essentially. Like
Right.
Lauren was like, yes, it's a variety show, but it's not a variety. Like all of the variety shows at the time were very corny, were very tongue in cheek, were very lighthearted and kind of like family oriented. Like, you had like Sonny and Cher and you had the Rumpus Room. And so everything was
Yeah.
like glitter. It was very kind of like a watered down like Vegas version of these variety shows. And Lauren wanted to showcase up and coming comedians, up and coming writers, and put a little like decent content out into the world and make it like really more for adults rather than this corny bullshit with feathers and sequins and Milton Berle telling his off-color jokes. So it was just so much fun. It was so much fun. And it's chaotic. It moves really fast. You can't believe that they did all of the things that they did. I think it starts at 9 o'clock at night or maybe 9:30 at night. So it goes from 9:30 to 11:30 when they go live. And it's just the casting was excellent. I
Yeah.
can't say enough about the cast. The casting was absolutely brilliant. They all embodied the various roles and well-known
The guy who
actors and
looks like
actresses that
John
we're
Belushi
aware.
is like could have been his
Yeah,
like son, like Matt Wood, I
right,
think his name
right.
is. I was like, damn.
Yeah, yeah. It was fantastic. Um, but yeah, it was and like I said, it was chaotic and like even though we all know how it ends, we all know it's almost 50 years now of Saturday
Yeah.
Night. It
Probably
was still one of
25
those
years
you're
too
like,
long, but that's beside the point.
yeah, it's like, are you gonna make it happen? Like it was, but it really was so good and so interesting. Um, and they gave you a lot in I think was it 2 hours? I think maybe it's like an hour 45, but they gave you a whole lot in that time frame. And it's just if you give a shit about Saturday Night, if you know anything about the original cast, I highly recommend it. It's just
I'm just saying,
he was
like
that was
Dylan
that's a great
O'Brien as
scene as
Dan
well, by the way.
Aykroyd.
That's a
I
great scene.
can't buy
And
that because it's like
he was great.
it's
He
just
was
like
great.
it's
I felt the
hard for
same
me.
way.
It's hard for me to
No,
imagine
he
someone like
was
Dylan O'Brien who's
great.
just like who's this. Well, he's not really a kid anymore. He's like I don't know. I think 30 at this
Yeah.
point. But like I knew him as like the young guy from like Teen Wolf or whatever. But it's just like he's kind. I wouldn't say he's like a sex symbol, but he's like a very attractive guy playing Dan
Well,
Aykroyd, and I
Dan
can only imagine
no,
Dan Aykroyd as
so
like the weird frumpy guy from Ghostbusters. Like I can't
so
imagine him
Dan
as like
Aykroyd Dan Aykroyd back then was a sex symbol, which is crazy when you think about it. So he's 33, by the way. Dylan O'Brien is 33. But
33.
Dan Aykroyd was a sex symbol. They show that in the film as well, that he like hit on every single set of tits that walked by him. Same thing with Chevy Chase. It was
Oh,
just
oh
the
God.
whole thing was and it's funny because like they keep complimenting Chevy Chase throughout the entire film, like all of these like big wigs and executives are like, you're a good looking kid and you're an attractive kid and all the ladies. And I'm like, who the fuck ever thought Chevy Chase was hot? Like
You
who
know
in the
what?
history
You
of
know what?
anything? But
People,
it's different times.
some people have weird stuff. Like I remember my mom, like she had a roommate in college who fucking who loved Mick Jagger, and she thought he was the hottest thing ever. I'm like, bro,
But he's a
that
rock
man has
star.
been
Yeah.
ugly since he fucking popped out of the womb. Mick Jagger is
But
an ugly
he's
ass
married,
mother.
like he married like 5 different models. Like
Yeah,
he's a
that
rock
wasn't
star.
for his
Rock stars
looks.
have different roles. Yeah, but it's just the whole thing was just it was just so funny to me. I was like, "Really?" I'm like, "Dan Aykroyd is a sex symbol?" But apparently he was. He was some
Yeah,
hot shit in the '70s. So I can't recommend this movie enough. I immediately texted my
yeah,
mom, like, I was like, "You need to see it. You're gonna love it." I mean, the jokes in it are next level, some of the stuff, like, behind the scenes, and I pray that the majority of it is exactly what happened and is word for word what was said because it is it's some really brilliant writing. The only I didn't care for Kim as Jane Curtin. That was the only casting I really didn't care for. She looks nothing like her. She did act kind of like her, but she was the only one that I couldn't get behind. Everybody else was pretty spot on for who they were playing. Um, John Batiste was great in it, but I can't say enough. You have to go see it. You have to see it. It is so fucking brilliant. Even if you don't know shit about Saturday Night, honestly,
right.
it's just a great film. And like I said, the writing is Ella was stunning as Gilda.
Oh yeah, Ella Hunt is such a good
She was
actress. I
stunning. She
I
was
I think
stunning.
she's definitely an underrated actress because I remember
Yeah.
when I watched Dickinson, which wasn't that great of a show, but she was always really good on that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was. I also want to see this movie she was in. It was a Christmas themed musical about the zombie apocalypse. It was Anna and the Apocalypse, and I'm like, I want
Oh,
because
that
she's
sounds
a great
cool.
singer. Like she sung like a couple songs on Dickinson. She was kind of overshadowed by Haley Steinfeld, who started as like a pop star. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
Dan,
Ella Hunt has a
I would
great set
say
of pipes and she's, a really good actress. I'm glad she's getting more, you know.
Dan, I would say give it a week. I think a lot of grandmas and grandpas are definitely going to want to go see this because it's going to take them back to when they first sat down and watched the first episode of Saturday Night. Like I said, my mom and my stepdad are pumped about seeing it. They're definitely going to go to the theater and see it. I would say give it a little time. Hopefully they don't get rid of it too soon. But I absolutely loved the film. And Tommy was hilarious. I pray that the writing is almost as true to what had happened to reality because the shit was brilliant. Nicholas was incredible as Jim Henson. Oh my God, he was
Yeah.
incredible. Um, but yeah, I can't say enough. I loved it. I'm probably gonna see it again.
Yeah, I might go if I have some time, I might go see it like this weekend
You've got to
because
see it. You've got to
this
see it. It's
I
great.
was excited once I saw that trailer. I'm like, oh, this is like because director Jason Reitman, he described it as a comedy thriller, and I'm like, I'm going to watch this movie, and
That's fair.
I'm gonna be like, my anxiety is gonna probably fucking go through the roof.
It will because it's chaos and it's nonstop from start to finish. It's just and like I said, even though we all know how it turned out, even though we all, again, we're sitting almost 50 years later of Saturday Night, you're still in it like, is this gonna air? Are they gonna go live? Like
That's
it
just
was
goes to show how
really
great
great.
that is,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like it really has,
Yeah.
that just shows
I
the
mean,
greatness of a great movie. Yeah.
really, it was so much fun. It was so brilliant. The casting is unbelievable.
I'm
I cannot say enough about this film.
I really liked I also like Corey Michael Smith, he who plays Chevy Chase. He played the Riddler on Gotham, and I always
Okay.
and so he was like kind of like he did that for a while, and then he kind of after that show ended, he kind of was like went under, and now he's like coming back doing this, so that's really good. But I'm like,
He was great.
wow, now that he's playing Chevy Chase, now the Riddler is only the second most evil character he's ever played in his career. So that's definitely interesting. Um,
Yeah.
but like I love the line in the trailer where like it just perfectly encapsulates the dickbag nature of Chevy Chase, where he's like, "Oh, this
When he
is an
falls?
ensemble," and I'm like, "Yep,
Oh.
that's him. That's the
Well,
I,
so they do Yeah, they actually do get into that. There's a couple of times when Chevy's in front of the executives and they're kind of gassing him up and they're kind of like
Yeah.
setting him up like you could be the next Carson, like you could be the next late night host, like keep doing what you're doing. Like they really give him a big ego boost and I think that's what ultimately led him to, tell Saturday Night to fuck off and he went on his own. But hey,
Yeah, and also,
he's
like, he
uber
was,
famous,
like
so it worked out.
yeah, and he was, like, also, like, apparently, like, a fucking huge, like, spoiled little shit, like, trust fund baby, like, growing up, like, he had, like, rich parents, and he
Yes.
was, like so there was
He
that as well, and
he
then
so he did, but apparently he also had a really horrible and traumatic childhood as well. Like there's a couple of layers to this onion, but we
yeah,
won't get into Chevy Chase in
yeah.
particular. I've met him. He has no interest in talking to fans. He's surrounded by yes men when you see him out in public. Um, but I mean, his wife loves him. She's very dedicated to him. She protects him. So there's good and bad in everybody. Take all of that information for what you will about forming an opinion about Chevy Chase. But again, this film itself was amazing, and I really hope
Plus
everybody
it's
goes
got
out
Willem
and
Dafoe, that's
sees
just
it.
an automatic
I
yes.
mean,
Willem
yeah.
Dafoe is amazing in everything, and usually he
Yeah,
picks the best of the best. Like, oh my god, I cannot tell you how excited I am for
so good.
Nosferatu later this year. That just looks so fucking good. Like, I
I think
swear to God,
I'm
like
I'm not like, well, I'll probably see it, but I don't know. We'll see.
it just Robert Eggers has not missed yet.
That's
So,
true.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
that's true.
just
That's
like,
fair.
this dude is just he's one of my favorite directors working today. Him, Mike Flanagan, Oz Perkins, they're some of my favorite directors. So I I'm really excited for that. But I'm excited for this too. I always had the plan to see this, but I just
I
have been
really
so
hope you
busy
do. I
that
really hope you see it in theaters because it's
yeah.
absolutely worth
And
it.
I will
It's
say
so
I was a
great.
little worried because I think like a guy I follow on Letterboxd, he gave it like a 7 out of 10. So I was like, oh no, is it not that good? But if you're
No.
gassing it up a lot, then I'm like, you know what? I'm really
But
curious
again,
now. So
I like all of those actors. I've always enjoyed like I don't watch Saturday Night Live regularly, but I am a fan of Saturday Night. I'm a big fan of Lorne Michaels. I think he's just brilliant and the fact that he has always stood by all of his performers and has always been in their corner even after they've left the show. Like I I'm just a big stan for Saturday Night Live in general. So that's definitely part of it. But I mean, honestly, for me, it was like a 9.5 out of 10. I can't give it a perfect score, but it
yeah.
was I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. So I'm really stoked for this, and I mean, if you don't get a better recommendation than that, I feel. But yeah, so next up, we're gonna be getting into everyone's favorite segment at this point, DCU Daily. We're gonna be talking about some, great things when it comes to, the other villain that got a solo project that people are actually liking, and that is the Penguin. We've talked about the Penguin a lot, and we've talked about, how much it's been, uh, how great it's been, and then on top of the fact, a certain Superman has reached theaters today, um, as well as some Creature Commando stuff, but mainly it's the Penguin. Um,
Yeah.
Now the stuff we wanted to talk about with the Penguin about how apparently like, you know, uh, there's a lot of like really good like skillful like VFX and like on top of that, and then like this is just like it. Now I haven't heard. I don't know. Have you heard of Nobody Wants This? I haven't heard of this. I
Yes,
just know
it's
Kristen
very
Bell's.
popular. People really, really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
hearing nothing but good
never heard
things
of
about
it.
it.
Sorry guys, but Nobody Wants This.
Yeah,
Nobody's heard of it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure a lot of people. I
it's
just
Kristen Bell and Adrian Brody.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So okay, so I looked up the premise and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, and honestly, that's really great. Like, it's just like I'm glad that there is like something in Batman's corner because I feel like the Batman stuff this year, just like I feel like Batman Cape Crusader wasn't that great. Joker Folie Do is like failing right now, and it's just like I'm glad the Penguin is just getting there for DC fans because it's just been so good so far. Like, I'm not gonna act like it's the most amazing, greatest thing ever, but I am very happy that like I'm liking it more than the movie. I'm liking it more than the Batman because it's just like
That's
I
great.
I love because I mean I didn't love the movie. I thought it was a very good movie.
Oh, I
It's
loved
just
it.
like there was a lot of stuff that inhibited it from me like liking it better. Like the third act just like fell apart. It was way too fucking long. I didn't really like Paul Dano's Riddler. I don't blame it on him though. He tried his best. It's
I
just
thought
like
he
I
was
didn't
I mean, the 5 seconds we got was okay.
um
I thought he was
but
alright.
he was well, it's just like the whole vibe of the Riddler. I don't think Matt Reeves understands the Riddler as a character, so that's the thing that kind of irked me. And I think
Okay.
Robert Pattinson was really good. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman was okay. It's just like it was way too
Yeah, she
fucking
didn't do anything
long.
for me.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have like Michelle Pfeiffer to live up to, it's hard to and Eartha Kitt. So it's like those are like the queens of Catwoman. So like that's it's hard to. But even then, I think it's still a pretty damn good movie. It's just like the major thing is you could have shaved like half a fucking hour off that goddamn movie, and it would have been a much better movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I will say though, the best thing that come out of that movie is Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. He is easily the best Gordon we've ever gotten, and I will stand by. Like, don't get me wrong, Gary Oldman, excellent,
Yeah. No,
but
I
and
really
I
agree.
know a lot of people
Yeah.
like Ben McKenzie on Gotham, but Jeffrey Wright was just fucking top tier. That is the case because usually I don't get like race swapping. Like I never understood the or gender swapping. I don't really get the point of it. But if it's just to the matter of fact, like, okay, this actor is just so good that we have to cast him in this role. That I genuinely believe that with Jeffrey Wright as
Sure.
Gordon
Sure.
because he was just that amazing. Like he carried that movie. I think he was better than Robert Pattinson as Batman. Like he was just absolutely perfect in that role. Like just like the layered performance. But even then, I know I'm gushing too much about Wright, but he was so good. Also, American Fiction, also excellent. If that if American Fiction or Holdovers came out any other year, those would have been best picture winners. I'm just saying. Anyway,
I
but
would
the
agree on that
Penguin,
with the holdovers. I don't know about American Fiction. It kinda lost me a little bit there. I was expecting something different when I saw it.
that's fair.
I mean, I still liked it. It's just not it wasn't what I was expecting.
But yeah, I think the Penguin, it just it's top tier. It's been getting the views, it's been getting the ratings, and that's really
I'm
awesome.
excited.
And
I'm gonna start watching it this week. I'm looking forward to it.
and yeah, and I like how it's just like DC needs a win, and it's just a shame we couldn't get that win on the big screen because that's what more people pay attention to. And so I could imagine Zaslav is just fucking shitting his pants right now. So, and like to James Gunn, he's like, motherfucker, you better fucking cure cancer. Cause like if Superman fails, you're fucked and you're out of here. So,
I mean, we'll see. We'll
yeah,
see. I don't know.
that's just my biggest hope right now. And I assume James Gunn is kind of freaking out a little bit, but he hasn't built up Joker at all. He was kind of like, oh, look, Superman, the Christopher Reeve story. That's the great thing that's coming out soon, right, guys? Uh, but yeah, hashtag get fucked. But yeah, I also really liked this. So I like this extra tidbit right here that is on screen, like of how the visual effect shots are really like sneaking in there, which is like really awesome. That is when CGI should be utilized. When it's like it's just a little bit easier, but it's like you can't tell that it is CGI. Like
Right.
when it bleeds into the um when it bleeds into the exactly. So it's just like that's what CGI should be utilized for. Blend it with practicals. That's unless you do like a fucking like really insane like space movie or something like that, then and you have no other choice than to use, you know, CGI, then cool. But like that I feel if you can use practical effects, like practical effects, it just actors have said like it's just better to act when you're actually on a set doing something and actually being able to interact with something. Like Jenna Ortega was saying it on Beetlejuice, and who was the Dave Bautista on Dune Part 2 was saying, like, yeah, we were actually on sets with actual other actors on, real that's like a selling. It's so weird to me that practical effects are now a selling point of like a movie now. It's like, oh no, this was actually shot on real sets, not on a green screen. It's like, why the fuck should that be a selling point? That should be expected. And it's just like, it's just crazy to me. So it's really cool how the Penguin manages to um yes, that was really good, especially in, with this past episode. That was really good. That was very impressive. And I think it feels very cinematic. That's the major thing. It feels cinematic and it feels bigger than it is. And that's really great too. And blend, like, it feels like this is a show that's just like we're using actual real locations, real sets, but also if we need it, we'll throw in a VFX shot like when we need it. And so I feel like that's pretty special and I really like that. And as I keep saying, it's a fucking great show. Guys, if you haven't seen it, it's on Max. If you don't have Max, it's on HBO Sundays at 9. So fucking go watch it, guys. It's great stuff. But that's not, the only thing we have of, you know, DC stuff. We have Superman. The Christopher Reeve story is now playing in theaters. Guys, I know Liz just gassed the hell out of Saturday Night, but maybe you'll make it a double feature. Go see Saturday Night.
I'm
Just like
I'm gonna be seeing it on Monday. I can't wait. I can't wait for this movie.
yeah,
I
Saturday
love
night
Christopher Reeve.
gets your anxiety through the roof, and you're like, oh, and you're just like crazy, and you're like, and then go see Christopher Reeve story
Yeah,
to
you need to
bring
come
your heart
down.
rate
Yeah.
back down. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I saw this movie back when it was before it was like announced that they would actually have like a nationwide. I don't know. Yeah, okay, so it is nationwide. It's not worldwide. Apologies for global viewers, but nationwide for at least the U.S. Maybe in the future it will, be global, but I'm sure that you guys can see it on. I don't know. Dan, check on this, but is Max global or do they have like other? I think HBO has or Warner Brothers has like other streaming services they have like deals with overseas because I know that they do that for like I know like Sky was one and like okay, that's what I figured. Um but yeah, so I assume like Warner Brothers makes deals with certain like streaming services that are specific to certain countries where you could probably watch this, or you can maybe grab a bottle of Captain Morgan and ride the high seas. But I'm not condoning that. So I'm just saying, you know, yes, Sky, Netflix, Prime, yeah, that's how it is. But yeah, this is just a genuinely really good story. I was gassing it up yesterday. I think that it's a sad movie, but it's also an inspirational movie. It's at points happy. It's not. It shows him not in a like totally amazing light, like it shows like the man behind the Superman type of thing where it wasn't just about his accident and it wasn't just about his activism or playing the superhero. It was also like he wasn't like, he didn't have like the best relationship with his kids at first, and there was that as well. So you know there and his relationship to his first partner wasn't the best either, but even then it's still like it showed like a kind of gray area, and even then it perfectly the editing in the beginning was a little bit off, but outside of that I thought it was an extremely well done it's what I like, that it just doesn't it's not a great movie just because it tears at your heartstrings, like because that's like easy emotional manipulation. No, it's actually just a genuinely well made and well like written, I guess you could say, well directed documentary that showcases all the right aspects at the right times throughout the documentary. I wish there was a little bit more about his activism, but even then, we still got a lot of it. And I saw and heard things that I didn't even know about, and I know a lot about Christopher Reeve. So it's so guys in the U.S., guys and gals in the U.S., go see it. It's such a great time. It's such a great movie. It's just make sure to bring your Kleenex because you're gonna need them. Um, but even then, it's yeah, it's a really good time. But for like a various different reasons, it's not like oh hoo hoo good time. It's like a good thought provoking emotional time at the movies, which is a good thing. Like I'm not a big documentary guy, but I do love how they
Oh, see,
the
I
things.
am, and I've been waiting for this film, so I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. But the last thing we have for you guys for DCU Daily is, next week we got Creature Commandos. We got, they're making their appearance at New York Comic Con. It's going to be from the
I'll be
17th
there.
to the 20th. Yes, just keep gloating about it, Liz.
I go every year. It's old news for me. Sorry.
I'm just kidding. I'm just pulling your leg. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. I hope we no, there's a lot of different cons you could probably go to in Canada,
Yeah, there's different cons. Yeah.
but this is just the second most popular one outside of San Diego Comic Con. So yeah, it's in 5 days for the next few days, and Creature Commandos is going to have its own panel. I believe James Gunn is going to be there. A bunch of the cast is going to be there, and it's just going to be a whole bunch of, you know, letting people know about what to expect. I'm sure he's going to be answering some questions about the future, but not too many. So, don't be expecting, oh, yeah, this is, oh, yeah, CCXP. Yes, that was also, that we're maybe getting like something Superman related in the CCXP con in Brazil, I think it was in December. So that's exciting. But yeah, this is mainly going to be about Creature Commandos. They might announce something casting related. They might announce something in terms of another project, but I seriously doubt that. I feel like James Gunn is going to keep this um Creature Commandos related. What DC characters would you like to see highlighted in the comics and the DC? Like, do you mean like ones from the comics that I want to see in the DCU, or just characters to get more love? I don't know what you mean by that. But in terms of characters I want to see in the DCU, I want to see Cassandra Cain done well. I want to see The Question. I want to see Green Arrow done right. Those are probably my biggest ones. Um, but yeah, Creature Commandos. I would say I wouldn't say I'm super super duper excited for it. Okay. Um, yeah. But yeah, as I said, I'd love to see Cassandra Cain done right. The thing is, I don't really read the comics anymore like I did when Rebirth came out, but I kind of dropped off, and the quality hasn't been great from what I've heard. Um. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Um. Yeah, I'm sure you could see it on a streaming service or a not streaming service, but like I'm not condoning that. My lawyers are saying I can't condone that. So, you know, oh yeah, no, I can't say that anyway. But yeah, I have not seen any casting rumors so far. I mean, it's mainly in terms of casting right now. It's everyone's talking about Aaron Pierre, so think I haven't seen anything. Dan, have you seen anything? I don't think I've seen anything in regards to casting rumors. Um, I guess so. The only thing I saw was what I talked about yesterday was Kelly MacDonald was going to be one of the female leads in the show, but that was about it. Nothing else. But yeah, that's it for, okay, so that was it. Okay. Yeah, I talked about it yesterday. So Hunter Iggy, if you want me to talk about that, go back to yesterday's DCU Daily. So I do talk about Kelly MacDonald for a little bit. But yeah, that's it for DCU Daily. Not a ton for you guys today. I apologize. But now we're gonna, skirt a little bit towards, MCU Weekly. And we're gonna be talking about how Sebastian Stan is being a little bitch. I'm just kidding. Well, not really, but like
Is he
kind
though?
of.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just like I don't know. It's just
I mean, listen, if somebody's gonna put a shit ton of money in my pocket, I'm also going to stick up for them and defend them
That's
for the
fair,
until the day I die. Like,
but
sorry.
it's also like it's just the way he says it, like, is just kind of.
Well, he's not the brightest bulb in
I
the
mean, yeah,
box.
he's a
So
pretty face. None of them are bright, you know. It's okay. He's got a bright face, not
I
bright
just
in the
saw
head
him in
though.
The Apprentice, and it was alarming how much he looked like Donald Trump, especially towards the end of the film. Like I'm probably gonna have nightmares, but he knows what he's doing. He's not an idiot. So,
Yeah, I
well,
know. I'm
I
I'm
just
just
said he
pulling for you.
was. So, but yeah, as far as acting roles are concerned, he knows what he's doing there. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just one of those. He was asked the question. He gave a soundbite. It's I don't know.
But it's like it's
It is
so
what
funny
it is.
because people have offered stuff better because it's like don't go out there and shit out something without. Yeah, people have been offering something better, like original
Yeah,
movies that don't cost the net worth of a third world country. Like,
that's fair. Yeah.
that's what people are offering. They're like, hey, we want to see more like original stories. We don't want to see the same fucking movie over and over and over again. That's the main thing with Marvel now is people are starting to really get sick of it. The cracks are showing and like these
Well,
movies.
my biggest and, hello, my last name is Marvel for a reason, but my biggest issue with them has been they've been inundating us with way too much stuff, way too fast, to the point where
Yeah,
and again, now that we're getting into the multiverse, they're trying to make everything connect. So they've kind of alienated people because it's like if you don't have Disney Plus and you're not watching the shows on Disney Plus, if you're not running out to the theater and you're watching every single film that comes out, you're not able to connect all of the dots. So it's making it harder and harder for audiences to stick with storylines and to understand what's going on. So I'm glad that they have started kind of backing off and pumping the brakes, because there was like a good 2 years where it seemed like there was a new Marvel project out like every other month, and you can't keep up with it. Like I still haven't finished Moon Knight. Like I still haven't even started Agatha All Along. Like when you just saturate the market with everything, people are going to turn their backs because it's just overwhelming after at a point. So
yeah,
I'm glad that they've started to sort of learn that lesson. But I still love them. I'm still going to try and watch as much as I possibly can. But
yeah,
yeah, I think that was a lesson they needed to learn, and hopefully we won't get the same stuff like that in the future.
yeah.
But
I mean,
again, if they're gonna cut me a giant check and essentially, keep me in the black for the rest of
he
my
gonna be
life,
on
I'm
his
gonna
knees day and night.
yeah, I'm gonna
That's
defend him for
just,
the rest of my life. It's
yeah.
true.
It's like if Marvel was gone a big hole, yeah, it'd be a big hole, but you could actually fill it with movies that are actually good. But you know how it
Well, I
is.
wonder if he was coming from that aspect or if he was coming from like more of like a DC Marvel kind of, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like
guess
I
so.
don't know that he was coming from a space of like, oh, no, nothing's original anymore, whatever. I think he was more coming from a place of like, well,
Right.
DC hasn't been cranking out quality shit either, so what else is there? But
Yeah.
again,
Um.
some people just shouldn't talk. So
Yeah.
there's also
Like
that.
me, I probably shouldn't talk as
You
much.
know, like
It's
Chris Pratt is another one. Like you should stop talking. It's like they are. It's it is what it is. What are you gonna do?
um. Yeah, I think he kind of has a point, but at the same time, it's like I think
I feel like
Marvel
it's a
would
point that
be.
doesn't need to be made. Like
Yeah,
no,
I mean, Marvel would leave a big hole, but it's a big hole that like could be filled, I think, fairly quickly and fairly
but also
easily.
Marvel doesn't need defending. This is what I don't understand either. Like, why are we still having this conversation? Who gives a shit? They're a juggernaut. They're going to continue to be a juggernaut. They're going to continue to
But
churn out shit as long as the comics keep coming. Exactly. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's so dumb to me that we're even spending all of this time on it, because it's like, who fucking cares? Like, who cares? It's not going
yeah.
to stop them from
I
making
mean, God
movies
knows I
or
don't care. I mean,
shows.
I stopped after Thor: Love and Thunder. I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. And then I watched Guardians. I watched Spider-Man. That's it. That's the only stuff I'm giving a shit about. So, you know, um, maybe. I don't think he would do it, but I mean, after Thunderbolts, they might fucking kill him off there, so who knows? Um, with his like Karen cut that he has. Well, yeah, I mean, people have been saying, "Oh yeah, Adria Arjona, she's definitely playing Wonder Woman." I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, I would love to have her. She would be a great actress, great fit for the role, but I'm just saying, don't expect anything. Um, but yeah, yeah, that's Casey. I hard agree. Like
Yeah,
they've been just
yeah,
fumbling with and the cheapness of it. Like this is what I was saying about before with like CGI is like if you blend it with practical effects, if you blend it properly, if you use stuff to their advantage, actually have your VFX artists actually get bathroom breaks and like pay them for overtime. That would be also really good. And so there's a whole net of problems that Marvel needs to get done. I don't know if it can ever be truly fixed. They'll never reach what they were with phases 1 through 3. They'll never hit that stride ever again. That's just a thing. But and I think they're trying to get to that point again. It's just like, no,
yeah.
just
I think they're trying to build it back up. Yeah,
and it's
but
like
that
it'll never happen
it's
again.
going to take time. I mean, I think they need to, like I said, I think they need to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah,
Because you're never going to get that chemistry. You're never going to get all of the stars to align like they had with those first couple of phases. You're just never going to get the same caliber of storytelling and acting. And I think they need to kind of let it, I wouldn't say let it fall by the wayside completely, but they they need to kind of slow down, regroup, and then hit us with something that we've never seen before. So that's going to take time. But I'm still a stan. I'm still gonna watch everything that they make.
yeah.
Hopefully it's good.
Um, but yeah, we do have a little bit of a thing here with Doctor Doom, but apparently there was a rumor from Daniel RPK, I believe it was. They were talking about how they were going to like handle Doctor Doom and the Robert Downey Jr. version that they're bringing. How if he's going to be the only version, how they're going to bring in another variant, who knows? But apparently the rumor is that they're going to set him up as just like he's going to be in First Steps, Fantastic Four First Steps, and then he'll be in Doomsday and Secret Wars, and then they'll kill him off, and then he won't really be in another Fantastic Four movie again. So again, this is just rumor mill. This is, take it with a big grain of salt, because if
Yeah.
that's the case, that might be the dumbest decision I could possibly think of in regards to this character. And Marvel might be dumb. They're not that dumb. I don't think they're gonna kill, especially, they're giving him like fucking like what is it, $80 million or whatever the hell it was for him to come
Well,
back, and
and
it's just
again, studios change hands, writers come and go, actors come and go. The fact that they're trying to say like, stick a fork in him, he's done after this is ludicrous because 15 years from now, you don't think that there's going to be another version of Iron Man. You don't think there's going to be another version of Captain America. Like they are going
that's
to
also true.
people are going to come back and say, "Oh, we've got this story that we can tell. Oh, I've got this version. Oh, I've got this really great script."
Right.
So it's as long as they're going to continue to make money off of these characters, we're going to get versions of them until we die. Like it just
Yeah.
cracks me up that they even have the gall to say something as ludicrous as that because yeah, well when you're no longer in that role, somebody's going to come up behind you and they're going to get funded and they're going to create these characters and they're gonna bring another version with another actor all over again.
Yeah.
So it's hilarious to me. It's
No
just
one's
hilarious.
ever truly gone. No one's ever gonna
Right.
you're never gonna like it's comics. Like we were joking about this before we started, uh, where they were like, yeah, only like Uncle Ben can stay then. Fucking they brought Uncle Ben back. Like if Uncle Ben can be brought back, anybody can be fucking brought back at this point. So it's just like they'll bring a character that was in 2 issues in like 1966 as like a fucking villain to some forgotten hero nobody remembers, and they'll make him like a big deal. So it's like, all right, I can lose my. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like a lot of genuinely good TV and movies. But yeah, it's just like I don't know what Marvel's doing. I kind of know what DC's doing. Not in the comics. The comics are both trash at this point. They're both pretty terrible. Um, but I think yeah, it's just yeah, just we're very me and Liz are two very opposite ends of the spectrum. I wouldn't say I'm a hater of the MCU. I'm just like once I kind of stepped out of this bubble of like being a big Marvel fan of like the comic book movies, I just realized I'm like, oh, this stuff is not, gonna be memorable. Once this shit goes, nobody's gonna remember this for like the next like after like 10 years. So it's like, yeah, I'm just kind of fed up. I'm just kind of done with Marvel. I I would like to see them
It's not a matter of
recast
should they. They will. They will. It's not a matter of should they. They
But the
will.
thing
Like
is, who
again,
knows if they're
15,
actually gonna
20
kill
years
him
from
off,
now, they
though?
will.
Who's
It
who
doesn't
I
matter.
mean,
Again, 15, 20 years from now, there'll be another Doctor Doom. I'm not I like it's
yeah.
ludicrous. It's really ludicrous to talk about.
Um, yeah, I just like I don't think they're gonna kill him off. Like, even if I mean that's the
It's very
big
true.
rumor where
Yep.
Secret Wars is gonna reboot everything and
Yep.
it's gonna bring X-Men
Yep.
and Fantastic Four into the mainline
That's what I'm
MCU,
waiting for. Yep.
which makes the most sense because everything has just kind of become like
But
awkward
so
and
help
weird
me
now.
if
So
they fucking give me a Channing Tatum Gambit again, I'm gonna blow my brains out. I'm sorry, Channing. I love you. You're wonderful. You're Gambit. You are not. I'm so sorry, but Christ, they fucking better not. They better not go. They better not show up at his office with a big bag. I'll be so pissed off if they make him Gambit.
you're
I'll
the
tell
only
you what.
one.
I'll be
I'm
fucking
sorry.
fuming. He doesn't have the body type. He can't do the accent for shit. Stop it. I love you, Channing.
But he
You were
he made
amazing in
he made
Blink
a name
Twice.
for himself.
No, no, no. Stop. Stop it.
I
If you
would
want to
love
talk
to I
about
would
somebody
lo
that should
I
be killed
honestly,
off,
I
no.
would separate my MCU hate just to go see a Channing Tatum Gambit
Look,
movie.
again, I'll see it, but I don't want it. This is what I'm saying. I will blow my brains out. I don't want it. I love you, Channing. I appreciate how much you love him. I'm pretty sure he has a Gambit tattoo. Um,
Yeah.
But no, honey, no, you can't unless he loses 50 pounds in muscle, and it's just no, it's not gonna happen. Bless him, but no, babe, it's you can't do it. You can't. And the accent is absolute trash. I can't. It was so upsetting.
It's so funny because
So
like
upsetting.
I love how like all the people that are complaining about his accent are like people not from New Orleans, and then all the people that are from like Louisiana are like, oh no, that's the most perfect accent you could possibly imagine.
I mean, he grew up around it. He did grow up in the area,
Yeah,
like
he grew up in like
that
Alabama,
that
Mississippi,
could
around there.
that could
So
very possibly be the truth, but it's not the Gambit that I know and love, and I just I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I appreciate the fandom, but like the same thing, like I'm obsessed with Rogue. Rogue is my girl. They're not gonna cast me as Rogue, gang, just because I love her so much. You know what I
you're
mean?
also not
Like,
famous
come
either,
on.
so there is that.
Well, I'm saying, like, that's not you know what I mean? Like, just because Ryan Reynolds is my buddy doesn't mean you're gonna put me in a Marvel movie because I like the character. Like, you can't do that. I'm sorry. I just
Tell us how
it's
you
so
really feel,
upsetting.
Liz.
Fuck me. I again love Channing, love him. I've seen almost all of his films. Blink Twice is incredible. I recommend that to everybody. But no, dude, leave it alone. Move along. I stop. Like maybe he could be a voice in like a cartoon or some shit later on down the line. Sure, but I can't see you in that role because Gambit's my guy, and that no. It's very upsetting. Very upsetting. I can't.
I think you should just stick with
Mm,
the X-Men 97 uh
love it. Love
uh
X-Men 97.
successor. But I have nothing to say in the game. I haven't seen Deadpool and Wolverine. I will never see Deadpool and Wolverine because of principles. So,
What? What? I've seen it 3 times. I don't
I
under that's
know.
You don't make any sense. You don't make any sense. That movie's incredible.
I've said this on the show before. I refuse to see it because it screws up the ending of the whole point of Logan was supposed to be the final
It's the
performance.
multiverse, babe. The
I don't get
multiverse. There
the
are
principle of
50
it.
Wolverines. There are 50
No, that's
Logans.
not the point I'm making. Like the point is like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. That was supposed to be the final performance of Hugh. That was supposed to be not the swan song
And then
of
they showed
Wolverine.
up with a big bag. And
And then
then
they
they
showed
showed
up
up
like,
with a
"Hey, do you
big
need
bag.
another boat,
Just like
Hugh?"
Robert Downey. Just like Robert Downey. They're
Yeah, and I
both going to
hate
be
that, so
doing
I
it
refuse to see
until
it.
they fucking die. I'm
And
just
because of
saying.
that, I refuse to see it. I'm sure it's a great
Okay.
movie. I'm sure it's the greatest thing since Citizen Kane.
Listen, I
But
appreciate you, but that's a really goofy hill to die on. That's all I'm going to say. That movie is fucking
I still have my
spectacular.
morals. I don't have a lot in this life, but I have my morals. So
All right. Okay. Well, clearly you're a better man than Hugh Jackman because they showed up with a big fucking bag and he took
yep,
it. And he was
yep,
thrilled to put on the yellow spandex. Fucking thrilled about it.
yeah. But
I don't know, man.
it
That
taints
movie is phenomenal.
it taints
Phenomenal.
the greatest Marvel movie we've ever gotten. So, and that was just supposed to be the final swan song of Hugh Jackman, and it just like that's what it intended to be. And then he comes back
Not
from
when the
Member Berries,
multiverse
the movie.
exists.
I know
Not
that's
when
what
the
it's
multiverse
just like. I
exists.
know there's a trillion other Hugh Jackman Wolverines, but it's just like I'm just saying only as Hugh Jackman. That's what I'm saying. Like Hugh Jackman coming back after Logan, no matter what they were gonna do, I was never gonna watch it because it's like Logan was supposed to be the final time as that character. That's what it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be like because yeah, obviously there's a multiverse, there's 100 million different timelines, there's other things where he doesn't die, all that shit. But that wasn't the point of Logan. The Logan was supposed to be the ending of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and then they just brought him back because they had a shit ton of money, and it's for like a Member Berries movie. Like, hey, remember Blade? Remember Jennifer Gardner? Remember Daphne Keene? And it's just like, all right,
Yeah, all
okay,
that shit was great. All of that was amazing.
yeah.
It was hilarious. It was excellent. I was happy to see him. It was fantastic. You're missing out. That's all I can say. That
I
movie
will
is freaking
happily miss
wonderful.
out, and I'll stick to what I like. But yeah, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. Um, But before, we end the show, we got to talk about what's coming out today or next week. I don't know. I don't know when shit's coming out, but we're going to be previewing Brothers. For some reason it's in French in the top right corner, but so next week we have um Brothers. It's a Peter Dinklage, Josh Brolin, speaking of Deadpool,
Yeah,
comedy
that's next
about,
week.
them being, twins, like the typical, like, oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Um, and so they're, twins that are Peter Dinklage is like a ex-convict, or he escaped prison, and he needs to team up with his brother. They need to figure out their shit and then go on one last heist with their mother, I believe, and just have one grand old time. It looks like a very silly movie, but it's got Brendan Fraser, and I love Brendan Fraser no matter what he's in. I do like Peter Dinklage. Don't like what he did for all the little people who lost out on a dwarf role in Snow White, but
Yeah.
I do like Josh Brolin. Like all these actors, it looks like they're just having a ball with this, and it's co-written by Macon Blair. I do love Macon Blair as an actor. I'm still fucking pissed that we couldn't get his Toxic Avenger remake. God damn it, guys, get me that goddamn Toxic Avenger remake. That was fucking perfect. Screw you guys for jipping it. Oh, we can't market this. You can't okay, you couldn't market Joker, but yet you fucking managed to figure that out, and look how that bombed. So you know what? Just give us Toxic Avenger, man. That's all I ask. Whoever has the rights, just fucking release that shit. Just release it on any streaming service. I don't care. Give it to me. But in terms of that, we do have this, and it looks like a fun time. It looks like a stupid, silly, ridiculous, like, premise story.
Fuck you, Casey. I'm sorry. Fuck you.
No. It's the greatest movie since The Dark Knight. It's the greatest movie since The Dark Knight. It's the great. I love it when people like when every movie like every DC movie after The Dark. It's the best movie since The Dark Knight. Yeah, you've been saying that for the last fucking almost 20 years, sweetheart. I ain't gonna believe it. So, you know. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, he gets on my, yeah, no, I'm getting sick of Ryan Reynolds. He fucking annoys me now. I'm just like, okay, it's just like, hey, remember when you were an actor instead of, just playing Deadpool in every single one of your fucking movies? I remember that.
Marvel
Good
movies don't
times.
get nominated for Oscars, so you don't have to worry about that. Like maybe like the special effects and the costumes. That's about it. So you're all right. Don't
Yeah.
worry.
That gets
But
nominated, never wins. A
yeah,
superhero movie has never won best special effects, so that's
no.
makes me happy. But yeah,
Well, what? Wakanda won, Black Panther won for costume. No, they won for a couple things. But yeah,
yeah, Suicide
fucking
Squad did win best makeup, and it's still bullshit to this day because apparently tattoos and clown makeup gets you an Oscar versus like
right,
the
exactly. Thank
intricate
you.
alien designs of Star Trek Beyond.
Fucking
But
thank you.
okay, sure.
Fucking thank you.
Just
Exactly.
like, and the thing is, Star Trek Beyond wasn't like the greatest movie ever, but like it had some great like makeup in that movie. But like, yeah, fucking walking Clussy and a guy who has a shit ton of tattoos and like gold teeth that gets you the Oscar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
apparently.
okay.
Whoop-dee-dee.
Who's
Whoop-dee-dee.
whose dick that did David Ayer fucking suck to fucking get an award for that goddamn movie? Like, God fuck it. I'm still okay. Let's not get into that because I'm gonna go full rant on that one because it just like fucking still pisses me off to this day. But yeah, Brothers, it looks great, but that's not the only thing we're gonna be reviewing. We are gonna be reviewing Smile 2. Well, I'm not gonna be reviewing that because it looks like fucking hot garbage, but we are also gonna be reviewing Smile 2, the
Not
sequel
me.
that nobody asked for, starring an
Nope.
actress who seems to just not have a good agent. Because Naomi Scott, I like her a lot. She's a good
Yeah,
actress. Like I've seen her in a couple things, and I'm like, okay, clearly you have talent, but like you keep doing garbage movies. You were in
really
Charlie's
bad.
Angels. You were in this. You were in the fucking Aladdin remake. It's like, girl, you need to get a better agent. Like, what are you doing? This is you're better than this.
Yeah, of course Aladdin did good. It's a live action Disney. They're all gonna do good. It doesn't mean that was the role she should have been in. Like, yeah.
It just yeah, Power Rangers 2017. I saw bits and pieces of that. I didn't see the whole thing, but I've like
Dude, that's good. It's good. It's good
it's one of
shit.
my friend who's a big Power Rangers fan. He's like, I fucking love that movie. And fun
People were
fact,
crying in the theater.
speaking of live action remakes, the reason that fucking movie didn't get a sequel and it bombed was because of the fucking Beauty and the Beast remake. So fuck you, Disney. We didn't get a goddamn sequel for that everybody goddamn wanted. Go fuck yourselves. Anyway,
I still want it. I still want it. 100%.
I mean,
That
Dacre
movie was fucking
Montgomery
great.
and all those guys are way too famous at this point. But maybe one can dream. But I think Hasbro is like they ended Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, so like who knows how that's gonna, it's fair. But like Smile 2, I didn't see the first one. I heard it was bad. This movie, what? What are you talking about, Zac Efron?
In what movie?
In what movie? He wasn't in Power Rangers. What?
He was not.
He was not. No.
Dan,
But
what are you
Bryan
talking
Cranston
about?
was in it. That was like Bryan Cranston. One of Bryan Cranston's first roles was a voice on Power Rangers. That like as in the OG show. Oh, okay. That was a shitty joke, Dan.
Yeah, Dan shush.
But I like, and again, Dacre Montgomery is another guy that doesn't have a great agent. It just feels like he hasn't been in fuck you, Dan. He hasn't been in anything that great, but he's a really good actor. So it's like, guys, what are you doing? But yeah, it's just this just looks like, I mean, the idea of like, did you ever watch Smile? I never saw it. It
No,
looked
fuck
really bad.
no. I don't watch those movies. How dare Casey, honestly, you're on my list, pal. We're having problems today. We're fucking fighting today. Honestly. You gotta be ashamed of yourself. No, I did not. I have no interest in any of these movies. I immediately turn my phone on and look at my phone when the trailer comes by. I want nothing to do with these films.
Yeah, it's just
That's
like
just not that's not my cup of tea.
I don't
Thank you, Dan. Exactly.
I don't mind the
Exactly.
idea of like a mind virus where it's like if you do something to someone, you're infected, but it's not like an ailment. It's like something in your head. That's a really
I
cool
think the
premise.
premise is no, I think the premise is if you witness death,
Yeah,
so
you
then
witness a death, you get haunted by it, but
something
that's like kind of like
yeah.
a
Um,
virus of some sort. I mean, because it's like I feel like the premise is good, because and that's definitely
it feels like The
franchise
Ring.
worthy.
It feels like The Ring to me. It feels like The Ring
A
where it's
little
like, oh,
bit,
if you
yeah,
watch this
but,
tape, it's
instead
the
of, like, a
same thing.
person, it's the tape. But, yeah, it's kinda like that. I mean, it's like, that's been something since, like, the dawn of time or dawn of cinema where it's like, it's something that infects your mind and go
Yeah.
crazy or, you're gonna die soon. Like, I literally just watched a movie today, Curse of the Demon. It's from the '50s, also known as Night of the Demon, where it's like this guy gets involved with this cult leader and like he gives him like this like piece of paper that like infects him and makes him chosen and like he has to like stop it before he eventually gets killed. So it's like that's been like a part of cinemas for the longest time. And it's just like again, this is one of those things where it's like it's a really good premise. You have a really great actress as your leading lady. It's just like it just looks very silly. It looks like the worst that horror has to offer now because it's like it tries too hard to be scary and then it just ends up being funny and then it just like it thinks it's like it's better than it is and there's no atmosphere, a lot of jump
It's like
scares
I
and
it's
it's
like
just
horror goes pop. Like, I don't know how
yeah,
any other way to word it.
it's popcorn horror. I think that's the term that Red Letter Media coined where it's like
Okay.
it's not great, but it's like mainstream stuff, like kind of like Stephen King. Uh, Even though Stephen King is like, I do genuinely like. I mean, I am currently trying to read Salem's Lot right now because of the new movie, which I haven't watched yet. I'm gonna be seeing that soon, hopefully. But it's like the Conjuring verse where it's just like it's not like genuine like oh my god like art form horror like genuine like
Well, you can't get down on
creepiness,
The
but
Conjuring. That's based on true story. Like,
yeah, I
I'm
know.
always gonna be a
I just
stand for
mean
The
like the
Conjuring
way
because
it's
they're
like
local
it's
they're
like
local legends.
it's one of those things like everyone flocks to because it's like this like really popular thing. I'm not saying like all of it's bad. Like I like like the first two Conjuring movies are great. Like I like those movies.
Yeah.
Um it's just it's like a nicer way of saying mainstream horror, and I don't think that that's
Right.
a
Yeah.
bad thing. It just sometimes you get stuff like this. Like a lot of Blumhouse productions are like this, where it's just like kind of schlocky crap that tries too hard to be scary, and then it has jump scares, and it's just not scary. So
Yeah.
it's a bit of a shame because I like Naomi Scott. I think she's very good. It's just like girlie needs a better agent. That's all I'm saying. Um
100%.
yeah. So I'm probably not gonna see this one. We'll just throw Angelina or Bridget into hey, you guys watch this movie. There you go. That's no, because that would imply the first Smile was good, Dan, and it wasn't. I tried to watch it and I'm like, this is garbage. There's a lot of movies I like try to watch, and I'm like, if this shit's not worth my time, I'm shutting it off. Like, I'm not saying like it's just like I'm not seeing it. Liz is not seeing it, so it's like one of them
Absolutely
is
not.
gonna see it.
Absolutely not.
So uh, I don't know how was Elizabeth Banks in Power Rangers 2017?
I don't remember her in it, so I don't
She
think she
was
was
Rita
in it for
Repulsa. She was the villain.
fuck, was she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was alright. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Not big on horrors unless it's yeah, like that's fine. You don't have to. I mean, just because I'm the horror
Yeah.
guy doesn't
No,
mean you have
agreed.
to like it. That's okay.
Yeah, I totally agree. I only, as far as horrors, I watch the Conjuring series because they're local legends, and I also watch like almost anything that Bloomhouse does, just because also Jason is from Connecticut as well. So I'm a big stan of local legends. And I do genuinely like I actually like more pop horror
Yeah, that's
stuff.
cool. Again, I'm
Uh,
not saying that's a
but
bad thing.
but this
I don't
I
want to yuck
just
people's yum.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
I have
this
no
looks kind of
interest.
lame. I
Yeah.
didn't care about seeing the first one. I don't care about seeing this one. Um,
Oh,
ew,
absolutely. No,
ew.
Power Rangers Turbo is
Turbo, a
absolutely
Power Rangers
fantastic,
movie. That movie sucks
sir.
worse than that one. What are you talking about?
This is coming from the guy that's also never seen the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of any form, so I can't with you.
I
Thank
don't know
you.
what to
It's
say.
true, Dan. It's true.
Uh, but yeah, I watched the 2003 show when I was a kid. All right, so I've watched TMNT. All right, I don't.
It's
Why you
not
gotta
the
be
same.
mean? Anyway,
It's not the
but yeah,
same.
better Fran. Um,
Scream! Scream! What are you talking about?
yeah, I'd probably say Scream because it's like I've only
What are you talking about?
well, I've seen.
I'm
Okay,
I'm also meeting like all of them this year in Rhode Island, except for Nev. Nev's the only one not showing up, but
of
literally
course not. She's
everyone
too
from
good for
every
that shit.
with the exception of Nev and Courtney Cox, literally everyone from every Scream franchise is going to be at Rhode Island
It
Comic
is.
Con, so I
Yeah,
will be meeting all of them. I'm very excited.
I've seen.
But
I
yeah,
haven't
fucking
seen the
Scream, dude. Scream.
third. I haven't seen the third Conjuring movie, but I really like the first two Conjuring movies. I I will say, okay, so I rewatched Scream 2 recently because I had to do a video on it, and I liked that. I thought that was good. Scream 4 is great. That's easily the best Scream movie. And the first one is decent but overrated, but the third one isn't that bad. 5
The first
sucked
one
donkey
sets the
dicks.
tone. What are you talking about?
I
You would
it's like
you would
it's
have
just like
nothing without that one.
no, I'm saying
You
it's not a
need
bad
that
movie. It's
one.
just like everyone like it's like, "Oh my god, it's like one of the greatest fucking horror movies of all time." I'm like, "No, it's not. It's
Matthew
not even
Lillard is
close."
so good.
I mean,
Jamie is
Matthew
so
Lillard is old, but
good.
he's great in everything. That's almost
Yeah.
a non-point a little bit.
Okay. All right.
The better film in
I'll tell him you said that.
I mean, yeah, Matthew Lillard is amazing no matter what he's in. Like he is like
Very true.
in that fucking Five Nights at Freddy's movie. He was the only reason why I went to go see that movie. And I do like Josh Hutcherson. I will say I do like him as well. But he was like the main reason why I went to go see that movie.
That's
God,
fun.
I love that man so much. Matthew Lillard is like he's one of the ghosts. He's
Well,
one of
he's
the
going to be in
ghosts.
the second one, right? I think they
Yeah,
just said.
he
Yeah.
said he signed a contract for 3 movies. So I
Oh,
mean,
okay. Good. Good for him.
so that's the only reason why I would see any sort. I need to. I have a bunch of. I need to see more of Matthew Lillard's movie. It's just like I love. Like it's just like he's just one of those guys where it's like Brendan Fraser, Keanu Reeves, where it's just like genuinely good dude. Always knows the assignment. Always great. So not to say like any of the other Scream actors aren't good, but yes, we are going to be doing a review of the Penguin. Dan very subtly trying to get us back on track. But yeah, so we are going to be reviewing the Penguin on Monday, maybe, and if any major news breaks, we're going to be talking about that. And then on Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about Superman and Lois. Love that show, so we're going to be talking about that. And then the rest of the next week is free to talk about whatever we want. Hopefully, that Lanterns casting that we've been promising you guys that I want to do so badly, but we just, stuff keeps getting in the way.
I
So
wonder
we do
if they're
very much
gonna. I wonder if they're gonna break that news at Comic-Con.
Which one?
Dan, I can. I'm going to be at Comic-Con. I'm maybe Monday if we talk about Penguin, I might be able to come back for Penguin 4, episode 4 because I'll have watched it by then. But anything else I cannot commit to, unfortunately. But I'm hoping they they announce the Lanterns casting. I would hope they would break it at Comic-Con. I mean, that would just make sense in my opinion. But
Well, that's what I thought. I thought
Josh
they were going to announce
Brolin's going to
Jon
be
Stewart.
there, so like they're like they might have some surprises. I don't know.
That is true. By the way, Temple, I remember. I don't think you were there yesterday, but I did talk about that. I thought they were ass. Spoiler alert. But yes, you can go watch the DCU Daily. Although now it's 2 days ago, at least on the East Coast. But yeah, I did. I talked about that Thursday. But yeah, that's true. That's also very true. Nobody can agree. Well, except for like
I
the
think the
legions
fact that we've had I don't care. Like the fact that we've had so many Batmans at this point, I'm just like, sure, whoever the fuck wants to take it
Pauly
on with
Shore,
the other
yeah, have
dude.
him as Batman. Sure, why not?
Fucking Nobody wanted R. Pats. I loved R. Pats as Batman. So like
Yeah,
fucking
well,
whatever.
because you have all the fucking normers that are like, oh, it's Twilight guy. It's like, bro has had an entire career since then. What the fuck are you doing? You're stuck in
Exactly.
2008, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Thank you.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
I'm
Josh
just saying.
Brolin's like, hey, I'm gonna stick with if Marvel needs me, I'm gonna stick with them for the time being, and then you know, we'll see about once maybe if the DCU actually starts making money and starts getting some sort of praise, maybe he'll like be like, okay, this is starting to like actually be good now. Let me go see what roles are up for grabs. Maybe Deathstroke. Um, well, I mean, no, because Kyle Chandler would become Parallax. What? Parallax is Hal Jordan. Unless you want him to like be a voice of the demon monster that what? There. And it will be me.
Hey, good luck. Hope you
Good
do a great
luck,
job.
Ron.
I'll see it. I'll see it.
Yeah, like that's gonna be like it could be the most perfect casting decision of all time, and they'll say it sucks because that's what it is for Batman. Like, oh, Ben Affleck, he sucks. Michael Keaton, oh, he sucks. Robert Pattinson, oh, he sucks. It's like
I
that's
mean, I could see him in the role, but like again, we get so many different actors over the years. It's like, all right, what
yeah.
just
As long as it's not
fucking throw
Jensen
the cape
Ackles or
on him,
Alan
whatever.
Richardson, I'm coolio with
First of
it.
all, how fucking dare you talk about Jensen Ackles? Absolutely not, sir. You shut up.
I love Jensen
He
Ackles.
can
He's
do
great.
anything.
I'm
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
fucking sick of people talking about how he'd be the most amazing Batman of all time. It's like, no, he wouldn't.
He would be good. I wouldn't say the most, as we know, Michael Keaton is the most amazing Batman of all time, but he would be good. He would do a
But
very decent job. I think he's proved himself in The Boys.
oh yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I think
so
he's a good actor. I just don't
I
see
have
him
no
for
problem with
Batman.
it.
But that is all we have for you today, guys, in terms of Oh So Curious and DCU Daily. We hope you enjoyed even going on our little tangents from time to time, but that's just how it is with me and Liz. We just go on our tangents and we just go talk about
Sorry,
anything
gang.
that's on our minds. That's true. Um
Well,
but let's not get wrapped up in Batman talk. But obviously, guys, if you liked what you saw, you should like and comment and subscribe. And if you don't know when we're going to go live, you have the notification bell. I know the notification bell isn't a perfect thing, but like it's the best we got. Unless you just check the channel every single day, then that's cool too. But whatever you need, obviously, we'll be here. We're going to be coming back Monday with more Penguin talk. Then we're going to be next day, Superman and Lois. Boom. If you guys love good repetition, like love a good schedule for the next few weeks, we're going to be having Superman and Lois on Tuesdays, hopefully, and Penguin on Mondays. So stick with us for that. And, and eventually we're going to be talking about Creature Commandos on Thursdays when that hits. So that should be fucking awesome. But for Oh So Curious, we are ending it now. We're wrapping it up. We are all ending on this. So we hope you have a wonderful day, ladies and gents, and we will see you on Monday with another DCU Daily.